across the country, and there's an increase in the consumption of air conditions and refrigerators. Now, with the growing electricity needs, several states are facing a supply-demand mismatch. And the latest to severely in fact, bear the brunt is the state of Tamil Nadu. Major cities like Chennai, Cuddalore, Karur, Kanyakumari and also Theni have been facing frequent power cuts for the past few days now. On April 22nd, Chief Minister M.K. Stalin even wrote a letter to Prime Minister Narendra Modi requesting him to direct the Ministry of Coal to ensure the supply of 72,000 metric tons of coal for uninterrupted power supply in the state. The Stalin government has claimed that the centre used to give around 50,000 metric tons, but in recent times it has gone down below 40,000 metric tons.
Right now ensured that they supply the entire 2,830 megawatt at rupees 6 per unit. That would have meant that we also have more megawatts. That would have also ensured that it is bought cheaper than what is there in the market. But Tamil Nadu government have failed in that. So therefore, there is also a lot of mismanagement by the state, which has also contributed to the power loss that we are seeing today.
On the other hand, there is ample politicking on this matter as AIADMK has now slammed Tamil Nadu's ruling party over the coal shortage. Now, DMK has failed to stock the required amount of coal to ensure uninterrupted power supply. That's the argument that AIADMK is making now. Meanwhile, the electricity minister has said the centre has not been providing Tamil Nadu with enough coal. My colleague Dharani now joins me live on the broadcast. Dharani, even as the common man suffers, there is bickering in political quarters. Now, AIADMK and DMK are at loggerheads. And all this while, it's the people who are suffering because of the power crisis, not just in other parts of Tamil Nadu, but from the capital city, Chennai.
Absolutely. So, several parts of Chennai, especially from the, from areas in the outskirts, they've been experiencing power cuts for the past few days now. And apart from Chennai, several districts, including Kanyakumari, Thiruvannamalai, Tirupattur, Theni, Madurai, Tirunelveli and all, they've been experiencing frequent power cuts and especially long power cuts for the past few days. And when this issue was raised in the assembly a few days back by the AIADMK, Electricity Minister Sandil Balaji claimed that the central government is not providing Tamil Nadu with enough coal to generate a required amount of electricity. And even today, the AIADMK in the assembly, they raised this issue. A former electricity minister from AIADMK, Thangamani, he stood and told that the DMK government has failed to stock enough coal to manufacture required amount of electricity during the summer times. And he also told that it's a managemental failure. So while replying to this comment from the AIADMK minister, now electricity minister Sandil Balaji, he told that it's in fact the centre that has not been providing Tamil Nadu with enough coal to manufacture the required amount of electricity. In fact, on April 22, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin, he wrote a letter to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, requesting him to direct the Ministry of Coal to ensure the supply of 72,000 metric ton of coal that's required per day to generate the required amount of electricity here in Tamil Nadu. So as per statements from Electricity Minister Sandil Balaji, it seems that Tamil Nadu is in need of 72,000 metric ton of coal per day for uninterrupted power supply, and the centre used to provide around 50,000 metric ton of coal per day until a few weeks back. But in the recent times, the ministry is telling that the centre has reduced the coal amount, and nowadays the Tamil Nadu is only getting around 35,000 metric ton of coal from the centre each day. And he has told this as the primary reason for frequent power shortages and power cuts here in Tamil Nadu. However, as we are discussing, it's at the end of the day, it's the common people who are suffering. Tamil Nadu, in most of the schools here in Tamil Nadu, they haven't, given summer holidays for students yet, and students are still going to schools, and we have thousands of people working in IT and other sectors here, working from home, because not all companies have called in their employees for to work at the organizations. So thousands of employees are still working from home, and they are facing severe issues when there is a frequent power cut. And apart from that, we also have to talk about farmers who are dependent on motors, to run what is there to feed to their fields, and whenever there's a frequent power cut, the farmers are not able to run waters into their fields, and that's affecting them very severely, causing them economic losses also. So the DMK government, they have told that they have taken notice of the situation and that they're doing everything from their part to resolve the issue. And CM writing a letter to PM is actually part of the DMK's initiatives to resolve the issue. But sources inside the electricity department, they are telling that despite all the efforts, there is no increase in the coal supply from the center to Tamil Nadu so far, and the Tamil Nadu government has to find a permanent solution to this issue as soon as possible, because the people of Tamil Nadu, they've started coming out and telling openly that they are facing several issues. In fact, when we open social media like Facebook, Twitter and all, we could see hundreds of people from various districts of Tamil Nadu coming out and telling that they've been facing power cut for few hours now, and that they are getting affected very severely. So we are expecting the government to arrive at a permanent solution very soon.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Dharni. In fact, Twitter has been abuzz with so many of the people and very prominent names, in fact, tweeting about power shortages, not just in Tamil Nadu, not just in Maharashtra, but from various other places across the country. Now, after Chennai, if we take a look at what is happening in the state of Maharashtra, many pockets of Mumbai and its adjoining suburbs like Thane have witnessed power cuts today due to suspected tripping in a transmission line. Some parts of central Mumbai, including Dadar and also Matunga, along with suburbs like Bhandop and Mulund and other adjoining cities of Thane and Dombivli, faced a power outage from around 10 this morning. The power outage comes at a time when Maharashtra is reeling under a power deficit pegged at 2,500 megawatts. Now, that has led to the state, the discomfort that has been caused by this to the people, in fact, to compulsorily go ahead and reel under the very, very acute power cuts because the supply is short in some pockets. Now, a spokesperson for the Tata Power Limited, which is a private sector utility, has said that the failure is due to a line trip in the Kalwa grid, which supplies power to Mumbai and suburban areas. In fact, my colleague Abhishek now joins me live on the broadcast for more on this. Abhishek, we call Mumbai the maximum city. A mega city as Mumbai, when it is, making the headlines for power shortages, then we have clear reasons to worry.
Yes, for sure, because, on one side, we had a press release yesterday from the state government of Maharashtra and electricity department praising themselves that there is no load shedding from past 4 days. And, they have produced more amount of electricity, like more than 26,000 megawatt in comparison to the demand of 24,200 megawatt. But today what we saw in the city of Mumbai and in the suburbs, as well as in the areas of Thane, Bhandup, Dombivli, Badlapur area, there was a power failure. You can say the power failure because a grid line which was coming from Thane, Kalwa area, which supplies main electricity to Mumbai and Mumbai city, has tripped, and that carried around 400 kilowatt of electricity to the Mumbai area, which has caused the deficit. And at the same time, Mumbai facing a power failure is a big worry, because the areas are very prominent. Bandra, Mahim, Dadar, these are the prominent areas of Mumbai, and imagine they faced a power outage for more than 4 hours. Though the power has been restored, and what we are coming to know from the sources is that an action has also been initiated at a senior level to reach out at what went wrong, because to restore the power, again a load shedding was done, and at the same time, that 400 kilowatt of power has disrupted around more than 2,000 megawatt of electricity. At the same time, when we are facing a deficit of 1,500 megawatt, 2,000 megawatt of electricity being hampered is something big question. And when at the same time, the release of Maharashtra Electricity Board, which clearly says that despite having power cuts in 9 states, we managed to avoid any load shedding in past 2 days. This kind of power failure today, and let me tell you one more thing, such kind of power failures also happened in past few months also. 2 to 3 times. This was the third time when it happened in the city of Mumbai and at the outskirts. So it is very important to note that there needs to be some correction at the state level. At the same time, people in Mumbai as well as the outskirt area should also use electricity judiciously as we are facing power crisis. Back to you.
Right, Abhishek, thank you so much for taking us through all that is ensuing in Mumbai specifically and the kind of issues and the problems that the people of Mumbai are having to face because of these constant power cuts in the city. With that, I'm slipping into a very short break here on Mirror Now. News and updates continue on the other side. Stay tuned.